I didn't realize they were taking pieces of my life until there was almost nothing left. That's what I told myself. After my divorce, I rebuilt my life quietly. No drama. No revenge story. I worked as a project manager for a construction firm, stable salary, long days, enough to live comfortably if I was careful. And I was careful. My younger brother, Aaron, had always struggled to stay consistent. Jobs, relationships, money. He was charming, funny, the kind of person everyone forgave as easily. I was the opposite. Reliable, responsible, predictable. The one who always figured things out. When my mom needed help fixing the roof, I covered it. My apartment slowly filled with signs of everyone else's problems. Aaron's boxers in the hallway. I told myself it was temporary. Requests stopped sounding like requests. Could you help me this month? Became, you'll handle it right. I hate asking. Hey, he said casually. I used your card for groceries. Hope that's cool. I froze. My card? He shrugged. I laughed awkwardly. Next time, S. He waved a hand dismissively. Relax. It's just food. I went to my room feeling unsettled. Parents' house loud, warm, full of laughter. Seriously, if Rebecca wasn't around, we'd be screwed. The table laughed. Something inside me went quiet. It was meant as affection, a responsibility I never agreed to carry forever. I smiled anyway, because that's what I always did. Later that night, back home, I checked my bank app. Something felt off. Several charges I didn't recognize. I scrolled slowly. Groceries, gas, online purchases, all from my card. My stomach tightened. I knocked softly and stepped inside. Hey, I said carefully. Did you use my card again? He looked up from his phone. Yeah, just a few things. I left the room, feeling guilty, even though I knew I wasn't wrong. The way everyone assumed I would always be there? The next morning, my phone buzzed. Mom, sweetheart, can you help with another bill? Just this once. Just this once. Felt tired. Bone deep tired. That night, lying in bed, I whispered something I had never admitted before. They're taking everything from me. The room stayed silent. But the truth felt undeniable. But saying those words was the beginning of the end. The next morning, I woke up feeling different. Not angry, just aware. Like I had finally seen something that had been right in front of me for years. I went through my usual routine, coffee, emails, work, but the numbers from the night before stayed in my head. Every transfer, every bill. I had been slowly emptying my life without no explanation, just a number. I stared at the message for a long time. Normally, I would have sent it immediately. I need to slow down on helping financially, I wrote. Appeared, then disappeared. No reply. That silence felt heavier than an argument. When I got home that evening, Aaron was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. The air felt tense immediately. So, he said, what's going on with you? I set my bag down carefully. What do you mean? You're acting weird, he said. I just need some boundaries. He laughed softly. Boundaries? Since when? Out loud, I said nothing. He shook his head. You know I'm trying to get back on my feet. Didn't know you were keeping score? I almost laughed. I wasn't keeping score. I was finally looking at the total. That night, I lay awake again, like I was sharing space with someone who didn't really see me. The next day, my mom called. Her voice sounded careful. Aaron says, you're being hard on him. I closed my eyes. Mom, he's using my card without asking. Silence. Then softly, he's going through a lot. I'm going through a lot, too, I said quietly. She sighed. Being strong had become an excuse for everyone else to lean harder. That weekend, my parents invited everyone over for lunch. Almost said no. But guilt pulled me there. Halfway through lunch, my dad said casually, "So, apparently not anymore." The table went quiet. When I got home, Aaron was at lunch. "You've been living here rent-free for months?" He threw his hands up. "Because I'm trying." I felt exhaustion settle into my bones. "I need you to start contributing," I said calmly. His face hardened. "You're serious?" "Yes." Silence. Then he laughed bitterly. "Unbelievable. After everything I've been through." The irony hit me hard. After everything he'd been through, as if I hadn't been carrying it with him. That night, he slammed doors and muttered under his breath. For the first time, my own home felt hostile. My hands started shaking. I called the bank immediately. I knew. Before I even got home, Aaron. He was in the kitchen when I walked in, scrolling on his phone. I held up my phone. "Yeah, I needed some stuff." My voice shook. "That was a lot of money." He sighed dramatically. "I'll pay you back." "When?" He shrugged. "When I can." Something inside me snapped. I shook my head. Slowly, no. I'm finally reacting. The room went silent. And maybe he didn't. Because the version of me who said yes without thinking was disappearing. That night, I canceled my card. It was about control. And for the first time, I was taking it back. But I didn't know yet how far they were willing to go when access was taken away. When he did, it was short answers, heavy sighs, the kind of silence meant to make you feel guilty. And for a while, it worked. I kept questioning myself. Was I being too harsh? Was I overreacting? But every time I opened my banking app and saw my balance finally stop shrinking, I felt something else. Relief. That relief scared me more than anything. Again, her voice sounded cautious. "Aaron says you embarrassed him." I leaned against the kitchen counter. "He's family." The words landed like a weight. I came home from work one evening and found him packing a bag. "You leaving?" I asked. He shrugged. "Yeah, since I'm such a burden." Guilt twisted inside me instantly. But beneath it was something stronger. Clarity. "I never said you were a burden," I said calmly. He zipped the bag aggressively. "You don't have to." The apartment fell silent, and for the first time in months, it felt peaceful. I sat on the couch, exhaling slowly. Thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, my phone exploded. Family group chat. I felt my chest tighten. I just needed boundaries. "You're tearing the family apart," he said. The words hit hard. And now, simply stepping back made me the problem. "I'm not doing this," I said quietly. The word lingered long after the call ended. Selfish. For protecting myself? The next week passed quietly. Too quietly. Then, one afternoon, I received a certified letter in the mail. My stomach dropped before I even opened. Inside was legal paperwork. My hands trembled as I read. Aaron was claiming he had contributed financially to my apartment and was requesting compensation. I called a lawyer the next morning. She listened carefully, then asked one question. "I'm an accountant. I had everything. Bank statements. And now they were trying to protect access to what I provided." Her voice sounded nervous. "Did you get something from Aaron?" "Yes." Silence. "He's just scared," she said quietly. I laughed, not cruelly, just tired. "Mom, he's trying to take money from me." She hesitated. "He feels like you owe him." The words stole my breath. Owe him. After everything I had given, I felt something inside me finally settle. My lawyer handled everything calmly. When she saw my records, she smiled slightly. A week later, Aaron's lawyer withdrew the claim. No apology, no explanation, just silence. But the damage was done. Something inside me had changed permanently. I sat in my apartment that night, looking around at the quiet space. For the first time, it felt safe. Mine. And then my phone buzzed. A message from Aaron. "You didn't have to go that far." I stared at it. "Did you?" He didn't respond. I put my phone down and realized something. The hardest part wasn't saying no. That night, I whispered into the quiet room. They really tried to take everything. Not just money. My peace. My stability. My sense of self. I didn't know what came next. No angry messages. No dramatic confrontations. Just distance. And I didn't know what to do with the quiet. At first, it felt wrong. Like I had forgotten something important. Like someone would call any minute needing help. But the calls never came. I went to work, came home, cooked dinner for one, living room, and realized I could actually hear the clock ticking. My life felt slower, lighter, and strangely unfamiliar. One evening, I opened my banking app again. It was proof that my life was finally moving forward instead of holding everyone else in place. Still, the loneliness surprised me. I missed my family. That distinction hurt. "I don't want to get in the middle," she said carefully, "but things are tense." I stayed quiet. "Your mom's really upset," she continued. "She says she doesn't understand what happened." I looked out the window. Maybe I finally did. They weren't angry because I hurt them. They were angry because they lost access to what I gave. That realization still stung. But it no longer broke me. Months passed. Life settled into something calm. I started going for walks after work. I laughed. More, I felt present in my own life again. Her voice sounded smaller than I remembered. "Hi, sweetheart." But I didn't realize either, I said. She sighed softly. "Everything fell apart after your father's business failed. You were just the one who could handle things." I swallowed. She didn't argue. The silence meant more than words. We talked for 20 minutes. Small things. Careful steps. No blame. A week later, she asked to meet for coffee. Just us. No family audience? She looked tired when she arrived, older somehow. We sat quietly for a moment before she said, "The house feels empty without you." I smiled faintly. I needed space. She nodded slowly. "I see that now. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. About how love shouldn't feel like obligation." For the first time, I felt like she was listening, not just waiting for. And surprisingly, I was okay with that. I stopped chasing closure. Peace was enough. The space felt different, calm, safe, mine. I thought about the woman I used to be, the one who believed love meant endless giving. She was just afraid that saying no would mean. But in losing that version of my life, I found something better. Sometimes people don't try to take everything from you all at once. It's realizing you should have done it sooner. That night, I sat by the window watching the city lights flicker on one by one. I felt calm, whole. For the first time in years, my life belonged to me again. The people who truly love you learn to meet you there. And letting go of that wasn't losing everything. Ever been the one who gave until there was nothing left? Subscribe and stay with us.